Good morning. Hello. My name is Allison Krysl, and I am super excited to have you come along and just kind of check out what a day in my life looks like today. Little bit of background. I am a mom to an almost 1-year-old, and I was a former teacher, and now I am a full-time freelancer. So I'll kind of talk more about what I am currently doing, my journey to get there, and how Michaela's course helped me through it. Come along for the ride. It'll be fun. So my routine, I generally try to start it before my kiddo wakes up. My kiddo has been waking up between 6:15, 6:30, so I try to kind of jumpstart the day and get up a little bit before him. In a perfect world, I have some time to do a quiet time, just spend some time alone before the day starts, and also have a little bit of time to get some work done. I have just found that if I'm able to get a little bit of work done in the morning before he wakes up, I am generally less frazzled or able to focus fully on him a little bit more when he wakes up in the morning. So that's my goal for this morning. All right, I'm about to sit down and just get a little bit of work done this morning before hopefully my kiddo wakes up. But let's just talk about what do I do? So I have been on a journey, but currently what I'm doing in my business is I'm really looking at other businesses' data and helping make the tracking and analytics process easy for people. So it kind of looks like a couple of different things. One thing that looks like is I create templates that I sell on my own store that are very generic and just help people track different numbers that they use in their business. So for example, I have created a really basic income and expense tracker to just help you be able to track the money that's coming into your business, track the money that's going out of your business, and keep it simple. I really think that looking at your numbers is really important for business owners to know how your business is doing, to kind of get a heartbeat on your business. But I find that a lot of people aren't looking at their numbers because it's complicated and because you just need an organized process. So that spreadsheet really helps make that system processed, streamlined, and helps you be consistent with it. And then the thing that I love to pair to it is a dashboard. So then once you have your numbers in that spreadsheet, there's a dashboard that you basically just connect your numbers to, and it will pull up in graphs, charts, bar graphs, all that. So apart from just kind of having my own set of templates I have in my shop, I also work with business owners to create custom templates, and those can look like basically anything that this business owner needs, either for themselves and their business to make the process of collecting their numbers easier, put everything all in one spot, all the good stuff, or a lot of my clients actually use it with their clients. So for example, I've had a couple clients who are podcast managers, and they are looking for a way to really step up their tracking, but really analysis and presentation game to their clients. So we will work together to create a spreadsheet that works perfectly for the numbers that they're looking at for their specific clients. The project that I'm working on today, this client is a bookkeeper who is just looking for some other alternative ways to present her clients, or people she would like to be her clients, but they don't have really the funds necessary to hire a full-on bookkeeper. So we are working together to just put together a spreadsheet and a dashboard that will help people who are not quite ready for a full-time bookkeeper but need a better way of keeping track of their income and expenses. I am kind of accomplishing a couple of different things. I am working on any templates that I'm working on for my own store. I am also working on any custom projects. My custom projects generally, they range in size, but they take between 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm just kind of slowly working on them over the course of those weeks. And then the other thing that I'm working on is just things for my own business. So social media posts, doing tracking for my own numbers, or working on other things like email marketing, working through some different professional development courses, or anything else that I'm working on to level up my own business. Once the little one wakes up in the morning, I'll kind of stop whatever I have been doing and spend some time with him. as well as like just get breakfast ready and all of that good stuff. It's kind of a nice break in the day. I had a spare couple of minutes during my kiddo's first nap work time today. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about my kind of journey with this freelancing process and kind of where I started, how I got started, and how I have ended up in the role that I am currently in. So I actually got kickstarted on this journey when a friend of mine was kind of going through the same process. So I had watched this friend. She was a teacher, found out that she and her husband were going to have a kid, and she just realized, like, I just want to be home, but like financially I need to provide something. So like, what is that going to look like? What am I going to do? And she just kind of stumbled upon Michaela's program, and she like took the leap of faith and joined it. And I just remembered watching and being like, okay, I know that I am also wanting to stay home. I am also from the teacher world, and I just knew from a young age, like, I don't want to teach and be a mom full time. Like, that just feels like a lot for me. I feel like I wouldn't do a good job in both arenas, and I don't want my family to suffer because of that. So I just watched her a lot. And I was super skeptical. I remember watching her and hearing her say, like, Allison, I found this thing where I can replace my teaching salary in like a fraction of the amount of time you spend working as a teacher. And I just remember thinking, like, no way, like, that's not a thing, that's not real. Could it be? And I just remember I kept watching her and like waiting for the moment when it wasn't going to work, but it never came. It worked for her. And she definitely had to make sacrifices and like figure out ways to make it happen, but she did, and it worked, and it's still working for her. All right, we are outside because my little one decided not to have a super long nap, and we just love being outside. So we are playing with the stroller a little bit before lunch this morning, but I wanted to come back and just kind of finish my story of how I found this program and how I got started and where I am now. So basically, long story short, after watching that friend take this journey and basically figure out all of the things for me, when I found out that I was pregnant, I decided to just kind of hop on the train. So I was lucky to get started in the summer, and as a teacher, you just have some extra time in the summer. You're not working, like, sure, maybe you're going on a couple trips, but I was able to purchase the program, I think it was June of a summer, and I just went for it. I went all in. I spent a lot of time working through the modules, creating my portfolio, creating all of those things. And I also really went with this mindset of like, I can start applying for jobs and trying to land clients before I finished the program and before I've really figured all the other things out. So like, I didn't worry about a website. I didn't worry about a social media presence at all. I just said, you know what, let's go for it. I decided to start as just a general VA because I didn't really know what I was going to enjoy, what I was going to like, or even really like what skills I had that could transfer over into the online world. So I just went with that general VA position and just said, you know what, I know how to organize things. I know how to use Gmail. I know how to use Google Drive. I know how to use all of those things. Let's just kind of see what can happen. So I started the program in June, and I landed my first client a couple months after. It's a client who I loved working for. She just needed a general VA to help with organization, to help with some back-end stuff for her business, and that was the first client I landed. I will say it slowed down after that first client, and it took me a lot longer to find a second client. I eventually found my second client by a one-time project. It just kind of turned into a recurring client, which was super awesome. I loved working for her, and our project just went super well. So I would just always encourage you to not be afraid to take on those one-time projects and see where they take you, see where they end up. By the time I had landed those two clients, it was probably about halfway through the school year. And I knew that I was going to finish out that school year and then be done teaching. That was kind of my goal. Kind of like go on maternity leave and just never come back. I My kiddo was due in April. So that the timing of that worked out really nicely for me. But because I was doing the full-time teaching gig, I did not put a lot of pressure on myself to try to find a bunch more clients. I had 2 clients. I was kind of figuring out the ropes with them, and I just left it at that, knowing that after I had my kid and like took a little bit of a maternity leave, I would come back and work on building my client repertoire. All right, so I had a big shift in my business once my kiddo was probably about 3 months old. I had been working for those 2 clients. I was thinking about adding some new clients, but I just was kind of hit with this realization of I have a limited amount of capacity to be doing daily things, and my kiddo did not love taking naps at the very beginning of his life. It's still a little bit of a struggle, but we have just developed a little bit more consistency, and so basically, I found myself in a position where I was looking for options that would not require daily work from me. So I started to make the shift. I started to pivot in my business and look for just different opportunities that would give me some more flexibility with my schedule and with my kiddo's schedule. And that led me to looking at data. I started to realize that what I did in the classroom by gathering data, paying attention to data, and allowing that data to inform my instructional decisions based on what my kids knew, what they were picking up, what concepts weren't clicking yet, all that good stuff, that applies in the business world as well. And that people are looking for help to organize, structure, and like just help make analyzing their data easy. So that is kind of where my business is at now. I primarily take on custom projects at this point in time for business owners who are looking for a way to better structure their data tracking and analysis procedures, and then also for people who work with a lot of clients and give them a lot of data analysis as well. This little one has woken up from his nap, and this is where we spend most of our afternoons after his second nap, outside playing. I really don't have a lot of previous experience in bookkeeping or a lot of these other areas at all. For bookkeeping, I have the experience of what I've done for my own business, which is not very much. That I put into that spreadsheet, along with just some extra research of like what do these numbers mean, what do these terms mean, what matters. And then for example, I've created a podcast tracker, and I actually worked with somebody who is a podcast manager for that one. So I was able to really lean on her expertise of the podcasting world for that one more specifically. But I basically come at it with this perspective of, okay, I have questions, right? If I were using a podcast in my business, what questions would I want to answer? And then how can I do some research to figure out what numbers are currently available to me that will help me answer those questions? My biggest piece of advice for somebody who is just getting started is don't be afraid to jump in and just do it. I think it was really easy for me to want to wait until I felt like I had all of my ducks in a row or like everything perfect before I started applying for jobs or whatever it was. And the biggest piece of advice, the biggest thing that has helped me really just launch my business is just getting started. And instead of feeling like I have to figure it all out, like adopting the mindset of I can figure it out when I need to, and it will be fine. Another piece of advice is like, don't be afraid to Google things. And I think it just has blown me away how much other people think that I am an expert in just because I Google something. So Google is your best friend, and you can learn so much from Google and YouTube. So by this time in the course of the day, I really hope and try to be basically done working. So once he's up from his second nap, it's sometime in the afternoon, kind of anywhere between 3 and 5. I just use the time once he's up to like make sure dinner is ready, hang out with him. We try to spend a lot of time outside during that point in time. We go for a walk, or just kind of doing what we're doing right now, like just hanging out in the front yard. I am so thankful that we live in a spot where it's warm and we can do that, and it's generally sunny, so that helps a lot. If I ever am in a pinch and just like have projects or things that just need to get finished, then like I will keep us inside where I can like grab my laptop, put it into the living room, and just get some things done while he plays by himself. He's pretty good at keeping himself occupied. Yeah. And just giving me some space, but often during this chunk of time is when that is less likely to happen. So I've just learned, like, if I leave the time when he's awake after his second nap to just kind of hang out with him, get ready for dinner, and just be, that works best for our schedule right now. By this time in the evening, I really try to not do very much in the evenings, but sometimes this is when just those last minute details for projects, or I also just use some of this time to do some learning for my own business, working through some different programs, or just kind of that back end business work that often gets shoved to the side. This is when that would happen. So I'm going to get a little bit of work done tonight, but that's basically it for what the day looks like. That's basically what a day looks like. Thank you so much for following along today and just getting a glimpse into what it looks like over here. I would love to stay in contact. If you're interested, my Instagram handle is hello_Allison Krysl. I am excited to connect with you more. Have a great rest of your evening.